That night, the sky over the quiet farming village was not normal. Far above the clouds, a burning object moved without sound. It was not a meteor. It was not lightning. It was something controlled, something alive. The villagers saw it too late. A streak of fire cut across the dark sky and disappeared behind the distant mountains. A few seconds later, a deep shockwave rolled across the land. Windows shook, animals screamed, birds flew away into the night. Old Elias, a simple farmer who had lived there all his life, stood outside his wooden house. He did not speak for a long time. Then he said quietly, "That was no falling star. That thing tried to land." No one believed him at first, but something in his voice made the villagers uneasy. By morning, a small group of men and women followed Elias toward the mountains. The air became colder the closer they got. The forest around them was silent. No birds, no wind, only broken trees and burnt earth. Then they saw it. A giant object, half buried in the ground. Metal, glowing faintly in strange colors. Smoke, still, rising from its broken body. It was not made by humans. It did not belong to Earth. A crashed alien ship. The villagers stepped back in fear. Some wanted to run, others whispered prayers, but Elias raised his hand. "Wait," he said. "Something is still inside." A low sound came from the wreckage, slow, weak, alive. Suddenly, a part of the ship opened with a sharp mechanical noise, and they saw them. Figures stepped out of the smoke, not human, tall, thin beings with damaged suits and glowing eyes. One of them was holding a smaller figure close, a child. Behind them stood a few more survivors, injured and exhausted. For a moment, both sides froze. The aliens expected weapons. They expected death. That was the rule of the galaxy, fear from unknown worlds, but nothing came. The villagers only watched. Elias slowly lowered his hunting rifle and stepped forward. His hands were empty. "You are hurt," he said softly. The translation system. Inside the alien suit struggled. The words were not perfect, but the meaning was clear. The alien leader, a scientist named Verena, hesitated. This was not part of any protocol. Humans were not supposed to act like this. Before she could answer, a villager moved forward with a blanket. Another brought water. No questions, no demands, just help. The aliens did not understand it. Why help strangers? Why offer safety without reason? Still, they followed as the humans guided them down the mountain. Behind them, the broken ship stayed where it had fallen. No one touched it. No one destroyed it. It was left as if even the metal deserved respect. And as the night came again, Verena looked at the humans carefully. Her data systems could not explain what she had seen, because humanity had done something impossible. They had found strangers from the sky and treated them like they belonged. The morning after the crash, the village was no longer the same. Word had spread faster than fire in dry grass. Something had fallen from the sky, something alive, and now it was inside the old storage hall at the edge of the village. But no one called it a thing anymore, not after they saw them. The aliens sat quietly inside the wooden hall, injured, tired, watching every movement with silent fear. Their glowing eyes followed every villager who entered. Verena, the lead scientist, stayed near the wall. She had not slept. Her mind kept repeating the same question again and again. Why are they not afraid of us? In her experience, fear always came first. Fear turned into weapons. Weapons turned into control. That was the pattern of every intelligent species she had studied. But Earth was breaking that pattern. Outside, Elias was speaking with the villagers. "They are not enemies," he said calmly. "They are guests." Some villagers were unsure, some were scared. But no one argued. Instead, they brought food, simple food, Bread, warm soup, clean water, nothing special for humans. But for the injured aliens, it was survival. A young alien child watched as a human girl slowly placed a bowl in front of him. The child flinched, expecting harm. But nothing happened, only a soft smile. That moment stayed, in Verena's mind longer than anything else. Inside the hall, she activated a weak scan of human behavior. She expected to see danger patterns, threat responses, signs of dominance. Instead, she saw something worse. For her understanding of the universe, cooperation without reward, help without control, kindness without calculation. It made no sense. Later that day, Elias returned alone. He sat a few steps away from Verena. Not too close. Not too far. Respectful distance. You are not from here, he said. Verena hesitated, then replied through translation. No. We crashed. Elias nodded slowly, like that explained everything. Silence followed. Then Verena asked the question she should not have asked. Why are you helping us? Elias looked at her for a long moment, not studying her like data, just understanding her presence. Then he said, because you are here. Verena blinked. That is not a reason. Elias gave a small, tired smile. On this land, it is enough. That answer did something strange inside her, something her mind could not categorize. It had no logic structure, no survival value, no strategic use. And yet, it felt real. As the days passed, the village did not change its behavior. The aliens were not locked away, not questioned like prisoners, not studied like experiments. They were treated like people recovering from a disaster. Children came to watch them from a distance. Slowly, curiosity replaced fear. A few even tried to communicate. With gestures, some failed, some succeeded. Verena observed everything. Her report system struggled. No dominance hierarchy detected, no resource conflict detected, no hostility detected, only sharing, only patience, only presence. One evening, she stood outside the hall and watched. Elias repairing a broken alien device with a villager who had never seen technology like it before. Neither of them understood it fully, but both tried. That was the most dangerous part, because Verena finally realized something she never expected. Humans were not reacting to them as aliens. They were reacting as if anyone who fell into their world simply belonged there until proven otherwise, and that belief was not in any system she knew, not in any empire, not in any species record. That night, she quietly sent a hidden signal into orbit, a warning beacon, not for rescue, but for danger. Because somewhere in the stars, someone would come looking for them, and when they did, this peaceful village might become the first battlefield of a misunderstanding the galaxy had never prepared for. The signal reached the stars in silence. No one in the village heard it. No one knew that Verena had sent it. But high above Earth, far beyond human sight, something responded. At first, it was only a flicker in the night sky, a star that moved where stars should not move. Then another, then many. Verena felt it before she saw it, a cold pressure in the air, a warning inside. Her damaged systems, her people were coming. Not rescue, not mercy, judgment. She stood outside the wooden hall where the villagers and survivors were resting. Her eyes turned upward slowly. They found us, she whispered. Elias, who was nearby repairing a broken wooden cart, looked at her. Who found you? Verena did not answer immediately. Her voice was quieter when she finally spoke. My people. A long silence followed. Inside the hall, the alien survivors became alert. Fear returned instantly. Old instincts awakened. They had run from this moment for weeks. and now it had arrived anyway. But outside, the village did not panic. There were no weapons prepared in advance, no fortified walls, no military system, only people. Elias walked to the center of the village and spoke loudly. "They are coming," he said. The villagers stopped what they were doing. Some looked afraid, some confused, but no one left. Elias continued, "The ones from the sky, they are not like these ones." He looked toward the hall where Verena stood. "They will not ask questions." That truth settled heavily in the air. Verena expected the humans to run, to hide, to save themselves. But instead, something unexpected happened. The villagers gathered, not as soldiers, not as an army, as a community. They brought the aliens closer into the center of the village. Not as prisoners, but as people worth standing beside. A human woman placed a hand on the alien child's shoulder. A farmer handed food to an injured scientist. A young boy stood next to Verena without fear. Verena's systems could not process it. Why would they stay? They had no defense against an advanced fleet, no shield technology, no weapons that could matter, and yet they stayed. The sky above began to change. Dark shapes entered the atmosphere like falling shadows. Massive ships, silent and powerful. Their presence alone made the air feel heavier. A voice echoed across all devices, alien and human alike. "Surrender the survivors. Earth will not be harmed." The villagers heard it clearly. No one moved. Elias stepped forward again. His voice was calm, but firm. "These are guests in our home," he said. "We do not give away guests." A pause. Then the voice responded colder. "Then your species has chosen extinction." For a moment, everything was still. Verena expected fear, panic, collapse. But what she saw instead broke every prediction she had ever trusted. Elias turned back to the villagers and simply said, "Stand together." That was all. No strategy, no plan, no calculation, just unity. The villagers held their ground. The aliens stood with them. And for the first time in recorded history, an advanced alien fleet looked down at a primitive world and could not understand what it was seeing. Because Earth was not acting like a species preparing to die. It was acting like a family refusing to let anyone be taken.